For those of you who haven't seen it, which might be a few of you, it's basically about a girl in a community who commits suicide and leaves behind 13 cassette tapes, each addressed to a person and each detailing why they drove her to commit suicide. So, yeah. All right.
Do you think this show romanticizes or glorifies teen suicide in any way?
No, I think that it just tries to talk about something that's hard and I guess tell someone's story that might be the same as others.
No.
Has the show changed the way you perceive high school or made you more aware now knowing that there could be people all around that feel the same way as Hannah?
I mean, we've always gone through like a bunch of different talks every year about bullying and everything, and I know that, I mean, I don't see it every day, but it does happen, and I mean, it definitely is concerning, but I feel like we do a lot of stuff at our school, like signs of suicide and all those different bullying lessons, that there's more people watching out for that.
Yes.
I don't think it changed my perspective, but I think I'm more aware now, yeah.
Do you think there's another way the creators of the show could have dealt with these topics that would have been easier for people to deal with?
Of course. I mean, and they've been doing that for years, you know, having things be soft and having things, you know, cutting away, right, you know, cutting the film away so that you don't feel uncomfortable. That's how things of that nature have been depicted in the past. I think they did push the envelope a bit and really focused on having you feel uncomfortable during certain sequences.
So I think it's complex. Clearly, you had a show that is, you know, adapted from a book, and the producer, though I have not read the book, my understanding is that the producers really wanted to hold some things true to form. So when you're transforming one form of artistic expression into another, you know, very clearly, like, you have choices to make about how accurately you depict what was in the novel. So I guess I don't necessarily find fault in the choices that the director.
I felt like in terms of suicide, they made the whole show about like blaming someone else for the suicide, which, I mean, sometimes people feel like, oh, like all these people like bullied me and like that's why like Hannah killed herself, but they didn't talk at all about her struggles or any of the other characters' struggles with mental health. Like, they didn't focus on her like depression or self-harm or whatever. Like, we don't know what she went through besides the bullying.
I don't think so. I think the show played it off well, so yeah.
How do you think people in similar positions as Hannah felt when they were watching the show?
I think that they were probably upset, but also realized that because the creators made the show the way it is, that people understand their issues.
And do you have any advice that you would give someone in a situation similar to Hannah's?
Talk more and be specific. Sometimes we have a tendency to be kind or polite. We don't want to bother, and you need to talk more. And just, even if it's a little blurty and maybe even feels a little rude or awkward, that's way better than being silent and elusive.
You know, I think the most important thing, certainly for someone who has experienced those things firsthand, as Hannah did, is to talk to trusted adults, even if that's not a counselor immediately, if that's a coach, a parent, a friend's parent, anyone that can link students to more appropriate responses, response personnel, whether that's their guidance counselor, a school-based clinician, such as an adjustment counselor, a psychologist, an outside therapist, and in some cases, students may require a hospital level of care, either through an inpatient hospitalization or a partial day program. But getting the care that is needed is so critical. Because, you know, as we try to emphasize through our SOS programming and, you know, other discussions around mental health within Newton South, depression, anxiety disorders, and other forms of mental illness are treatable illnesses, and with proper care, people do recover and do have really nice outcomes. And in those moments, it can feel really desperate. It can feel like the world is closing in and things will never get better. But there's lots and lots of examples and evidence of individuals who access care and do get better.
Talk to someone, because no one's really ever alone.